Hello, everybody. It's Wayne. Um, I hope there's people there. Let me get a couple things in order here, please. Be patient with me. Here we go. Okay. Is anybody there? Don't see anyone. Current viewers. Got two. Okay. Thank you for joining me, actually, today. Rico Mike could not make it, so I'm going to be doing this by myself. Uh, this is going to be about smears. What I mean by smears, when they're not, a smear is really not a stretch, it's a cheat drawing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these poses that I've created here. And it's just a guy doing a quick take, just some standard generic action right here. But what is the difference between a smear and a. Hello, Jake. Hello, Leonardo. Hello, dude. Uh, what the difference of a smear and a stretch is, a smear drawing is really a cheat drawing. And what I mean by that is that you'll see as I draw this, but a smear is sort of like a stretch, but it's not really holding the same volumes that a stretch would. A stretch would be this. So we got a ball here, it stretches down, that ball holds the same volumes and then it comes back to its original shape and form right there. A smear is we got the ball and then I cheat it. It's not holding the same volumes, but it's a way to snap your drawings into that final drawing. You can see here on this drawing right here, that shape is not holding the same amount of volume in it. It's just a super distorted shape. And you use that a lot in cartoony animation, meaning, like if you watch Tex Avery, Warner Brothers, any cartoons, if a character is just quickly moving over to the next pose. So I'll explain that as I go along here. Let me get rid of this. So what I have here on the first one, what I'm going to demonstrate, and I'm going to keep it very simple. When it goes in, he goes into the antic and he ends up over here. I'm just going to use the basic stretch, meaning I'm going to be consistent within the volumes of the character. So let me turn on. I'm just getting there. So here's what we got. We got the starting pose, anticipation. He's going to come up over there. So now I'm going to put in some drawings that's going to show a stretch, but I'm going to keep the volumes in there. So I'm just going to go with the shapes. You know what? I'm going to bring that down, the arc. So I'm going to come down here, the arc of the head right there. Bring it there. And I'm going to have the head leading over into this pose. And you guys, I'm not going to, because I'm going to be doing the drawing, I don't have a monitor. I don't have Rico or Judy, so it's going to be hard for me to look up at your questions. So if I don't get to it, please excuse me for that. And here the head is leading. I'm stretching the bottom of his face, that volume in there. Think of it as like a water balloon. And I'm going to drag the hair back. Can you guys hear me okay? Jakers, tell me if you can hear me. I think I did that correctly. Okay, let me add another drawing. Hello, Tefik. Animator. Hello, dude. Yes, the audio. Oh, thank you, Leonardo. Okay, so here he's just is dragging, coming through. He's gonna come up in here, but this is just a stretch right there. Let me add another drawing. So he comes up into this, but this is not a smear. This is just going to be a stretch coming up in there, following this arc. Nose is coming up around there. I'm going to have the mouth still dragging, the bottom part of the face. I'm going to have it dragging slightly. And I'll just start to open the mouth. Just barely starting. Same thing with the eyes. I'm going to have the eyes just starting to open to work up into that. And everything is starting to stretch open. Same thing with the eyes. They're squashed. Over here, they're squashed. The eyeballs starting to open here. And then the hair, which is dragging, is coming around. Here's my arc for that tuft of hair. S shape right there. Everything's closer. The ear's closer, the cranium. Everything is closer as he gets closer to that final pose. And very good. Other side of the hair. I'm not going to get into the drawing. Remember, I'm just drawing loose right now, just for the first rough pass. See a little bit of neck. Boom. And then he opens up into that one. So let's take a look here. Don't like this drawing. As I always tell you guys, let me turn that down. Keep flipping your drawings. Flip your drawings so you can see the movement. So I'm changing this one slightly. It's a cartoony scene and it's very generic character here. So I'm stretching the bottom muzzle, bottom part of the face coming up into there. Comes up. I'll keep working it till it's feeling somewhat satisfactory. I'd probably go back into it. Comes up, boom, and then he pops up into that one. And what I would do here, is this a side note here? I'm not going, on this one I'm going to drag, since how it's cartoony, I'm going to drag that nose a little bit back. There we go, that feels a little bit better. And then I can just have them pop in to this pose right there. You could also add in an overshoot pose, which I'll do. We got time. I'll do it just to show you. It has nothing to do with smears, but just to let you know. Overshoot is where the character goes past the point. I'll stretch everything down. Whoop. And then he's going to settle into that. Stretching the volume of his lower face. Have the nose come past the point slightly. And the mouth is going to stretch even more. Bring that lower lip down here. I'll stretch the eyes out more. This is, don't forget, this is a overshoot drawing going past it. And then on the hair, I'm going to have that still dragging slightly behind before it goes up into that as he settles into it. Neck coming off there. Cranium, nose. Okay, so that's the overshoot drawing. Let's see, any questions? How much distance are there between? Leonardo asks, how much distance can there be between drawings without producing strobing? Because when I make animations, it happens to me, but I don't know why. How much distance? You know, Leonardo, that's there's no formula for that. It's a matter of feeling it. And if you're getting any strobing, that will mean that you're out of arc. Meaning when he's coming around here, right there. I should bring that down even more. That would strobe. But everything is in an arc here. So make sure that all your shapes and forms, all the elements of your character, they're within arc. The number one reason for strobing is because you're not following your arcs. Your arcs being a C arc or an S arc, whatever the arc is, just make sure you stay true to that arc, and that should resolve it. As far as spacing goes, you can see here, I'm starting off, and I'm not putting in charts. Right now, I'm just feeling the drawings. But you can see here, he's starting off slowly. Let me turn down the onion skin a little bit here where we can see. There we go, that's better. You can see he's slowing out. There he's speeding up. I would probably put a drawing in here, but I'm not going to do that for right now. And then he comes up into here, closer to our last drawing. There's the overshoot, and there he's going to settle into it. So I hope that answers your question on that one. It's just a matter of following your arcs. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just scroll through these drawings, and we're going to see. It's not timed out, but you can see what I animated here. So whoop, and let me I'll do a quick pose test here. We'll hold that first one for 16. Anticipation for 2, 2, 2, 12. Okay. Okay, still too slow. Let me change that up slightly. Okay, there we go. All right, now this is not in between. Please understand that. This is just a pose test, but you can see this this scene, you can see it done with no smears. What it is just the stretch and squash of the character. So it's the same thing as I demonstrated early on showing the diagram of that ball. That's what this is. It's more conservative. It's not as cartoony. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those same 3 poses, but we are going to put the smear in. Okay. So let's go back here. Okay. Now we got these same 3 poses right there. But what's the difference between what I just did with the stretch and squash and a smear? I'm going to come in to my antic here, put in another piece of paper, blank frame, and I'm going to put in a super smear. And you'll see what I mean. This is just from one shape to the other. There's the nose. And this is, and smears also, side note, I want you to understand that there can be small smears and real big smears. This one, I'm going to do a real strong Tex Avery kind of smear. Very cartoony and you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm coming from this drawing here, the anticipation drawing, and finding that line, that edge right there that's going to come up into this area of the edges here of this shape, the muzzle. These are representing the eyes. Now I'm feeling it out as I do it. You know, I'm not just I'm roughing it out, just feeling everything. It's the hair. Mouth. Oops, hold on. Change that. Cranium. Mouth, just a graphic line comes across. Want everything to flow, flipping it back and forth. See, we're starting to get a feel right there for it. I'm going to bring down, I want that shape to fit more correctly where I have the bottom lip coming in here. Okay. And understand also, there are no steadfast rules. It's just there are different types of smears. I'll get into that a little bit later, but there's different types. So this is just one approach. You can do where there is a trail of shapes, or just what I got here, just a real stretched out. Now, because I'm coming off of this drawing, I'm going to keep in the shape of that hair, that tuft of hair right there. I'm indicating the ear right there. Now I'm just going to realize my drawing overall. Try to get it a little more plastic. Okay, so let's take a look here. And smears also, you guys, they are on ones. You don't ever want to put smears on twos. Hold that for 10 frames. Okay, it's gonna go by quick. Watch. Whoop. There you go. So there's a smear. I didn't put in overshoot. I can if I want to, and I'll show you an example of that. But this is how you get that snap into your animation. You know, a lot of people ask me, you know, when I do it, it looks too slow. Well, all you do is put one of those smear drawings in there, and you can just use one, or you could use, you know, a smaller smear, and you could put in an overshoot. So let me show you an overshoot with this smear. Let me see. Let me check questions here. Hi, Nikki. Patricia asks, I wonder if smears are motion blurs? Yes, the same thing. You can call it, they're also blurs. So it means the exact same thing. And stretch are deformations of the character. A stretch, never thought about it that way. A stretch is sort of, I would say a smear or a blur is more of a deformation. Because a stretch, you're still being true to those volumes. And I hope that makes sense. You're staying true, as I did down here. Why is the... Hold on one second, you guys. Sorry. There we go. As I did down here, what I did was, you know what? I'm going to add in one more drawing just to make this really clear. I'm going to put in another drawing showing the transition of him coming from here to there. Meaning, so I'll put the nose right there, following that arc still. Here's bottom face, dragging, but it's still holding that same volume. So it's a little bit of a distortion, but not really. This is, I mean, we are caricaturing our shapes and forms, but we're staying true to the volumes. And that's really the really important big difference of a smear to, and I'll show the ear here. This one's going to be pushed against volume and arc of the hair. I'm going to be dragging the hair back a little bit. There's this tuft right there coming down there. Drag it back. I'll just leave it like so. Make that a little clearer. Okay, so I'm dragging this nose a little bit back, but I'm not gonna go crazy with it. Definitely pushing more with the bottom half of the face. And now what you'll see is boom, boom. I'm gonna put this on ones. And you'll see when we're talking about the deformation of the forms, we'll see that it is being deformed slightly, but not nearly as much as a smear. Okay? So it's just a little bit smoother. I put that in there, but then we go back to this one. That smear drawing right here, that drawing is truly a complete deformation of it. It's just completely abstract pushing it. So I does that make sense? Thanks so much for doing this. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that makes sense, Patricia. So let's go there. I'm going to do an overshoot, and I'm really going to, just exaggerate everything like crazy, working into there. And this is just another way I can do it. And remember that these drawings, when I got them on ones, the thing is really important. Remember, these drawings are going to be felt. Are they really going to be seen? No, I would say they're being felt much more than being seen. They are being seen, but in a visual way. When the viewer is looking at this, they don't see these individual drawings. They're feeling them. So let's just take a look at this and you'll see, whoop. Okay, there you go. See, I just put that in there. I would do much more, I can do a cushion in after this if I so choose, but I don't need to. If I'm doing something and I got to get it done really quickly, this will work for this type of comedy animation. I'm hoping this makes sense to you guys because I get so many questions about this. Why is this not? I get so many questions about it. I can put in one more drawing if I so choose. I'll put in one more that will settle very quickly up into that last pose. Everything's going to be very tight from this drawing to this drawing. Put the eyes up there, eyes out there. And then the hair, I'm going to have it coming back. It's going to settle in. Everything is coming back to the orange drawing. I hope you guys can see all this. And still going with a shorthand, keeping it loose. The lips out, everything's out a little more. I didn't put that out far enough. Coming back in there, and this also I'll keep on ones and watch. It's just going to be a little smoother now. So that's basically it. What to understand is that, come on, Antic, I could change the smear if I wanted to, but it's working, so I'm just going to keep it. That's a smear. That's another, I could even push that out more. It just matters how far. This is a small smear. And this one, I will not call that a smear. I'm calling this a settling in pose. This is a breakdown that is just settling in. But the volumes are are the volumes are the same as this last drawing. So this one is just a little bit of a stretch. So we got 2 smears in there. You saw where I just put in, before I put in the overshoot smear and then the settling in pose, you saw that it was still working. And if you check out all the very cartoony Tom and Jerry, Tex Avery, Warner Brothers, if you check out Ward Kimball's animation, if you look at this stuff, or Eric Goldberg also, if you check this stuff out frame by frame, you're going to see where they use it for some scenes or certain sections of a scene, and you'll see where they just do stretch and squash within the scene. So let's see here. Let me take some questions. Romnick TV, it says, I want to become a professional animator, but my animation is not good. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Romnick, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, you will become a professional animator. What you got to do is just stick to it. It's a very hard art form to understand in the beginning. I'm telling you, as I tell everybody, all you got to do is stick to it. Show some tenacity. Be persistent in your goal to succeed at it, and you will get it. It's just a lot of different things that go on. You got to think about timing. You got to think of all the 12 principles. And after a while, you're going to get it. It's going to become just second nature to you. And even after doing it for years, there will be times where, it's like, oh, I can't believe I forgot this, or it's so obvious. It's fine. It's fine. You just gotta be persistent in it. Matthias S. Hello. Okay, so let me get back to this. What else can I do? I want to show you. Let's see. What I'm gonna do is show you even another example. Oops. Okay. Just to show you what you can get away with here, I'm gonna take out oh, come on. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Come on. Well, okay, I'm going to take out the anticipation drawing. I'm going to take out the overshoot drawing and the settling in pose. And watch this. It's going to go by real quick. Okay? That's just with the one drawing, that one smear drawing. This is done all the time. You know, when they say this is true, 95% of the time, there's always an anticipation for the next movement. But here I just proved you don't need to. I just got in. Let me get up here. Okay, I got in one smear drawing right there. And this is, you can see how snappy this animation is. And there are times in your when you're working in the studios that the musical beat is so quick, but the director wants the animator to hit those beats where this is all the time you have. You know, you have no more time except for one frame. Now what you can also do, if I wanted to, with this drawing, I could make this into an anticipation and overshoot drawing at the same time. And I know that sounds confusing. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to just take this drawing, get rid of this old sketch. Now what? I'm not going to change the whole drawing. I could, but I'm going to bring the nose out beyond the last drawing, and on this drawing I'm going to have the nose go out. It's going to go boink like that, if that makes sense. Come out a little bit there, comes out there, that shape comes out, and I'm just going to extend the mouth right there. The hair, let me stretch that out there. And the eyes, I'm just going to go like so. And now watch. This is a smear that has a kind of an anticipation. What I mean by that is because it shot out this way there, and then it overshot over there, overshoots over there. So I hope that makes sense. And watch. There you go. So there's another approach you can use. It's all about experimenting. It's all about, let's see what happens if I do this. What happens if I don't do this? You know, if I make it more minimal. There's just very many ways you can go about it. Let's see here. Leonardo. I want to make a fight scene as exercise. Is it possible to use smears in parts of the body? Example, smear of just legs moving. Yes, Leonardo, yes, you can definitely do that. I did a scene of my little character Rascal, and it's a scene, let me see if I could call that up. Let me see what time it is. It's a scene where he's fighting, he's beating up these two guys, and there's sections in it where his body is holding still, but his arms are smearing, or the character that he's hitting, the face gets smeared. So yes, you can definitely smear different elements of your character, just like I explained. What I had, let me do this instead of me trying to find animation layer. Turn that off, on. So what I mean by that is, let's see. Look, you guys, like I say, I try to keep these simple. Ooh, I just blew it there. Frame 1. Okay, so if I got a character here and he's up in the air, it's just reminding me of what I animated that scene. He's up in the air and his arm, there's his fist, there's his arm, here's his other arm. And he's hitting something right there. And I just keep his body right here, but I put a smear in of his fist coming forward. And this hand, actually, I'm going to change where I place it. See? This is it again. I'm going to change it where it reads better. So I'm going to have this fist up here, more so. That way, when he pulls this arm back, I got that line of action, that path of action, that arc right there. And watch, I'll put in a couple trail shapes right there. There's the arm. I'm going to trace off don't like that. Trace off, but let's focus on the fists here. Next drawing. Hits the character. And back here, we're going to have the other arm. Like so. Boom. Okay. And then I'm going to bring this fist back. That fist back, I'll put a couple, I can put in just a couple trails. Just another way of doing it. This fist is coming forward. Down there, let me, don't know why that happened. Okay. And this should roughly cycle Okay, so that's not very good. His body would be moving up, but I'm just trying to show you what you can get away with. So what he's doing there, he's just pounding away on a heavy bag or whatever it is, but we're getting the feeling of it. Also, you guys, what to understand is that when it's in color, for instance, I'm going to shade in that far arm and the elements there. Maybe show a little bit here. Here comes that one. Fade that in. Shade that in, I'm sorry. And shade. And when I shade that in, I think I'll get rid of that. It does. It reads a little bit better. So what I mean by that is when you're done and you tie down your drawings and everything, it's going to read much better. I'll also come in here, and the thing that is, I'm going to make the shapes much more clear, where we don't see the underdrawing. It's going to help it too, because that shape is going to be very clear. And now let's take a look. So there you go. That's one way to do it. Like I said, with the body, I would have the body moving up as he's doing it, or just a better pose. But as far as what you can get away with, remember, again, what I did was I put those transitional drawings, meaning the number 2 and 3 drawings, I put them on ones. Let's take a look if I do this all on ones. It will still work. It's just going to be super fast. And you'll see that in animation. Again, we're feeling this more than actually seeing the individual drawings. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Matthews asks, what do you think about using video reference when animating a scene? Thank you so much for your videos and live streams. You're very welcome. Video reference is great. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. And when I say video reference, I mean live action reference. If you're drawing animals or something you're not that, whatever the subject matter is, always first use the real thing. Go to reference first, so you have an understanding of it. You know, I've been drawing cartoons for so long. This is kind of annoying. I've been drawing cartoons for so long, especially, you know, these kind of generic cartoon characters like this. It's just very simple for me. But if I'm going to do a scene of an action that a pole vaulter, let's say, in the Olympics, I would have to study live action of it, because I've never done that before in my life. I've animated some scenes of characters surfing. I used to surf, so I could feel and I understood that sort of movement because I had done it for so many years. But if it's something new, I will first study any kind of reference. Very important. And even if you're just drawing, forget about animation. If you're drawing, let's say a chair, a certain type of chair, you know, one that's from 1960s in comparison to one that was from the 1930s. You got to go to the reference. See what the real thing is, even for something as simple as a chair. So always use reference. You're welcome, Leonardo. Chris. Oh, dude, these are Chris. These are on ones right here. That's ones right there. That's my buddy Chris. As you can see, Chris, those are just 4 drawings right there. That will work. And Chris, I appreciate you to just you no, you don't need to say it anymore. Okay, but you're a good man. Okay, let's see. Art with Amar B. Good afternoon, one-on-one. Hello, and hello to everyone else. Hello, Art. You're welcome, Matthews. Let's see here. So we went over the different smears, what you can get away with. Just remember to take chances. If there's any other questions, I will happily answer them. We're gonna keep this one. We're gonna keep this one a little bit short. Like I said, Rico, he had stuff to do. We're gonna probably, you guys, we're gonna probably be changing the live streams because Mike has he has work now. He has a job that he's working on. Thank you, Chris. That he's working Saturday mornings. He's actually teaching, and so I will announce it on Instagram, one-on-one animation Instagram. I will announce what day we'll figure out to do this. And I think I've covered everything. If there's anything as far as smears, that's... let me see. The only other thing I can think of, and let me do this, is I do want you to know that I showed you the one smear. If we got a ball, smear comes over there. Okay, that's one type of that's a smear drawing, or you call it blur drawing. I'd actually call blur a little bit more like this. Comes out that way, but it's more effects. It's not a solid shape. I'd call it something like this, and you can see it and that will work too. So this is number 1 to number 3. There's number 2. This will work too. This sort of effect. Let's try another one. Number 1, 3. That's the smear. Smear. Let's say that's more of a blur. And you can also do it like this. It's just, there are many ways you can do it. Number 1, 3. And when I was working on The Mighty Bee, if you guys ever saw that cartoon on Nick, the director wanted more of trails, meaning there would be this kind of effect where the ball's over here coming into number 3, but there are trails, shapes that are coming off of that shape as whatever you're animating, as it is moving. And it's more than this. You put more drawing than this. I'm just trying to keep it simple. And if you wanted to, you get rid of these lines. You're almost like, it's almost like being an effects animator in a sense. And then what you do, you can put in a couple just speed lines coming across like so, and this will work too. You just got to put a little bit more drawing into it than what I did there, but that's sort of the idea. You put them in there until it feels right, it looks right, and you're flipping the drawings. With everything you do in animation, you're always flipping your drawings. So there's another example of smear. We'll call this part smear. I never thought about this. And over here we call this a blur section right there. You know, and you get a feeling of movement. So there are three ways that you can approach it, and there are other ways also. There's the dry brushing method. Just check out. It's all there on the internet. Just check it out frame by frame. And whatever they're using, go ahead and use it. I remember when I was animating my own film and I had to come up with these sort of effects. I just went frame by frame in with Super 8 film, checked it out, and I just copied it. And there I learned how to do it. Okay, sometimes blurs. Hello. Sometimes blurs don't need just show impact. That's true too. That's a good point too. Sometimes you can be here, and thank you for saying that. You can be there. I'm going to do it down here. You can be here and here. You can start to show a movement here. Just show it here. And the next one would be an impact of it hitting right there. There's the impact of that coming out from 1, 2, 3 impact, and then it's goes back to its normal shape. 4. Thank you. That was a very good point. So this is it hitting the wall, but that's more of an impact. That would also be something where I was showing you with Rascal, with that little character that was hitting. It can be, you could start off here, and the next one is just the fist into the heavy bag or a face. Okay? You are very welcome, Patricia. Okay, you guys, I know this one's kind of short. I do have to be somewhere. But I hope this helps you guys out, and I will let you know when Rico Mike is going to be back and we get back to our regular show, and I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for joining me, and good luck with all your animation. Bye-bye.